I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
In 1977, Bill Wood set the standard for high-performance brakes, and more than 40 years later, Willwood continues to dominate the industry. Born from racing technology, Willwood products are proudly engineered, manufactured, and rigorously tested in the USA. Whether at the track or out for an afternoon drive, Willwood has all the braking components available to stop you. Power, control, precision, Willwood. The best in braking technology since 1977.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another afternoon of Spec Corvette Series racing right here on the National Racing Network. Teams are getting ready to go and getting gridded up here as we head off to Sonoma Raceway for the Spec Corvette Series presented by Nankang Tires. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us. And as yesterday, I've got in the booth with me Mr. James Watson. And man, I'll tell you what, James, we saw a rowdy race yesterday afternoon. Something tells me we're going to see more of it again today.
Oh, yeah, man. We saw nothing but great battles. I think we had, like, the battle for the last podium position last the entire race. We're going to get the same stuff again today.
Yeah, let's take a look a little bit here and tell you about the racetrack here in Sonoma, California, because this place is absolutely spectacular. Opened in 1968, it's a 1.990 mile. Some places say 12 turns, some say 11. I think there's that whole 7 and 7/8 thing. There is a total of 12 turns here. But 160 feet of elevation change this particular layout. The track record held by Kevin Harvick at a 1 minute 16.854 second lap. Our guys have been pretty quick here, but one of the things that I saw after qualifying this morning, James, the back end of the field is 2 seconds faster than they were yesterday. Sometimes when you're not doing this full time, you sort of have to kind of get your feet wet, and the day 2 is a whole lot more comfortable for you.
Yeah, it's good to see, especially since yesterday's race was incredible with the pace that everyone had. So with everyone being faster, we're going to see better racing and even better battles, which I can't believe because, again, what we saw yesterday was incredible to watch.
Yeah, and as always, the weather here in Northern California is absolutely spectacular. 81-degree ambient temperature.
It is.
Feels like 72. It's gorgeous. Wind's currently out of the south at 6 miles an hour, but basically what we're talking about here in all reality is as we go, that things are going to get just a little bit better here all the way around. Looking forward to it this afternoon. We've got some other storylines that are going to come into play here, and one of the big ones will be our point standings here. Can't ignore it. After yesterday, Oli Thordarson only losing 5 points to Greg Nestor because of where everybody wound up in the finishing order and only having 8 cars here. Oli still holding a fairly comfortable lead in the point standings over Greg Nestor. Craig Dale, 55 back. JC Meynet, 67 back in 4th. He might be a little bit far considering maybe with some of the smaller grids and only 4 races left, 67 may be a little bit much to go. But we could have a barn burner here between Oli Thordarson and Greg Nestor.
Yeah, Oli just has to hope that whatever afflicted him in last race doesn't happen again. And because, yeah, there's not a whole lot of ground to be gained for Greg, but there's still some ground to be gained. So Oli's still got to be on his game. Otherwise, Greg just might take it at the end.
Yeah, and quite frankly, there's really no other way around saying this, but we do have some pretty fantastic storylines that we're going to be watching here. Take a look as cars are looping their way around the racetrack right now. Trouble for Oli and JC. Those guys had some issues yesterday. They pulled off the racetrack. We're going to have to see if they're going to be able to make it through all the way. Carroll hurt so good. Throwback to Dale Earnhardt at Watkins Glen many years ago. I guess it would have been 1993 if my memory is serving, or 94, I guess, if my memory is serving me correctly. But Dale Earnhardt winning the pole in a track record time at Watkins Glen, being all sorts of banged up. Josh Carroll is dealing with some injury issues himself. Broken right wrist. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the race goes on. But the other big storyline, James, is the remaining schedule. We've only got 4 races left. 2 at Laguna Seca, 2 at Chuckwalla Valley, and the 2022 campaign for Spec Corvette's going to be done and over.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of time left. Greg's going to pull off the big upset. He's going to have to get going. And it's incredible watching Carroll and the drive he put on yesterday with his injury. I don't know how he was able to drive that well. 'Cause, yeah, this track isn't exactly great for the wrist.
Yeah, and actually, we'll take a look here and go on board with Josh Carroll here as he is sitting out on the grid. And these guys are going to be getting ready to go here in just a moment. But, man, Josh Carroll's drive yesterday was absolutely spectacular. There is no other way to say it. He was impressive. And the battle we saw between Nguyen and Greg Nestor, equally as epic.
Yeah, they were nose to tail, power sliding out of every corner. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah, just a little bit of fun there. And we'll take a look here as we'll head back to turn 11. We'll see some of the high-performance driving experience vehicles still out here on the racetrack. One of the neat things about the Spec Corvette Series to me, James, is the fact that it is truly a spec series. It's not like it's not IndyCar, which is theoretically a spec series. This truly is a spec Corvette. 1997 to 2004 C5s, very limited modifications. It has to be a stock LS6 or LS1 engine. Only 380 bald eagles coming out of those rear tires. You cannot make more than what the rule book allows you to.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's how racing kind of should be, all in the driver's hands. Like, the biggest thing that's different from car to car is who's behind the wheel. And so it's better as a driver because you're not looking at it and going, man, if I only had this, if I only had that, I'd be better, I'd be more competitive. Instead, you just get to go, man, if only I was better.
Yeah, that's right. It's we joke about it when we do the iRacing broadcast. My lack of talent behind the wheel is pretty legendary. But that's where the answer is get good. It truly is a man versus man as opposed to who can, put piles of cash into their race cars. Talking about one of the guys that's really good, my goodness, Marc LaCorte, back-to-back poles. He's got 3 wins this season, 7 podiums, and an 8-race top 5 streak. Every race he's been in this season, Marc LaCorte has been on the podium. He picked up the win in race number 1 yesterday, and he was gone. Once Oli and JC Meynet had their issues, there was nobody coming close to Marc LaCorte yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't really see a whole lot from his car, and that's a good thing as a driver.
Yeah, you don't want to have the battles are fun, but they're stressful. These drivers are on the hook for all of their own repair work and everything else. This is a pretty big deal here, that these guys absolutely have to make sure that everything's on the up and up. And they will tech these cars post-race too, which I think is incredibly interesting. Let's take a look here and see who else we can take a look at. Let's pick up... let's slide on over here and take a look behind the wheel of John Nguyen's number 15 machine. John, one of the proprietors. Oh, look at that. Even giving us the little selfie in the rearview mirror there. We saw that, John. I like the thumbs up. That was fantastic. Spec Corvette co-founder, his first race weekend of this season was yesterday. He spent more than a year getting this series up and off the ground. Really nice fourth place finish yesterday after that the great battle we talked about with Greg Nestor.
Yeah, it was a really solid run from him. It was really impressive to watch, especially since it's his first start in a year. Like, there are people that have that run week to week that don't get that good of a performance. So it was really impressive.
Let's take a look here. Before we get too much deeper into this, we'll get all the background noise out of the way here for just a moment here, because we do have some pretty big thank yous. And all of these sponsors of the Spec Corvette Series, you can find their links down in the comments. But today's presentation of the Spec Corvette Series on the National Racing Network is presented by G-Stream. Thank you very much for your support of Spec Corvette. Also, Improved Racing. Sparco providing the official seat, safety harnesses, and safety equipment provider of the Spec Corvette Series. Also need to say a big thank you to TPS Motorsports. Track Spec Motorsports providing a lot of the front kind of arrow, the arrow bits that go on the hood of these race cars. Also need to say a big thank you to Turn 1. Thank you for your support of the series. Also a big thank you to Willwood Brakes, the official braking system of the Spec Corvette Series. And big, huge thank yous to Nankang Motorsport, the official tire of the Spec Corvette Series. All those sponsors and a couple of more links are down in the video descriptions, whether you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube. Make sure you check them out. If you're interested in getting involved in the Spec Corvette Series, speccorvette.com. The website's there. The rule book is all there. It's something that I love, James. Unlike some big series that hide their rule books behind a variety of firewalls and everything else, the Spec Corvette rule book is small and freely available to the public. That's a pretty big deal when you're talking about it being open and accessible and transparent. Everybody knows what the rules are, and you really don't have a ton of issues in the tech yet.
Yeah, as it should be. I never understood why some series always like to keep it under lock and key. It's like, how do you get people involved? How do you grow a car count? People need to know what they need to do to their car. It's that simple.
There we see the track day cars making their way off the racetrack. Next up on the speedway will be the Spec Corvette Series. We hope you enjoyed the little pre-race show here today, because once the action gets going, good Lord, does it come hot and heavy. Make sure you give it a like, a share, subscribe. Thank you for the super chats and the stars and all that kind of stuff. Check us out on all the socials at National Racing Network, also nationalracingnetwork.com for all of the real-world racing information you could want to get your hands on as well. And taking a look here, swap the camera over, we got Corvettes rolling out onto the racetrack. So with that, let's get you tonight's starting lineup here for race number 2 here at Sonoma this weekend. Oli Thordarson will be your pole sitter with a great lap of 1 minute 48.649. But, oh, man, James, it is go time here, buddy. Marc LaCorte, 75 thousandths of a second back for quick time. Are you kidding me?
How? Oh my goodness, that is incredible.
You
barely ever see gaps like that.
There's the look on board from Marc LaCorte's car. Oli Thordarson making his way out on the racetrack. Row number 2 will have JC Meynet out of Los Angeles, California, alongside Denville, California's Josh Carroll. These guys a little bit off the pace. Don't be surprised to see JC running up towards the front here, though. And Josh, he was hoping for mid-pack going into yesterday. Today is going to be absolutely insane if he's able to keep contact with the race leaders. Row number 3 will have Tony Jimerson and John Nguyen. Both of those drivers 2.6, 3.1 seconds off the pace, respectively. We'll take a look. Let's go on board here with John Nguyen for a moment. They're going to make their way down the hill now. Row number 4 for this afternoon's race will have Greg Nestor and Kevin Jones. Take a look here. We'll go on board with Kevin here as well. So a whole bunch of cameras for you today. We've got all the cameras are sorted out, lined up, and ready to go. Now the question becomes, is timing and scoring going to cooperate with us here? Hopefully it does, because we do have some pretty cool stuff on that end as well. But yeah, it looks like it will. So let's get you ready to roll here. Oli Thordarson and Marc LaCorte on row number 1. One more car we got to get a look at here before we totally get out here. We're looking forward to this. Josh Carroll will be bringing us quite frankly, a wild look out the front of his race car. But you also see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, we can see out the back end of the race car as well. So you'll be able to see the battles front and back out of Josh Carroll's machine. Field getting doubled up. There you see the Spec Corvette starting to roll into turn 11, and that hairpin. Very slow bring down here by Oli Thordarson. Field getting ready to go. They will see the green flag here in just a moment.
I don't know. I think I saw someone spin into turn 1 in one of the other classes.
Oh, I hope not. Let's see. We'll see. It does look like we have some yellow flags out here. Yep, they have yellow flags out, but basically as soon as the race is underway, they will get a green. As they work their way up the hill here, we'll stay on board with Marc LaCorte, trying to chase down race leader Oli Thordarson. Big run down the hill. Man, this place, the elevation change really is pretty crazy here, James. And I'll tell you what, actually, it looks like today's layout, that looks like the carousel to me. I think they're running the full layout of this place today.
Oh yeah, that's the same layout they ran yesterday as well. It's you really only see the chute used for NASCAR because the fact that the chute adds a better passing zone for the stock cars, but anything else, you're going to see the carousel. And that's a good thing because it just always felt blasphemous not to use the carousel. It's such an incredible corner. And the elevation change right there, entering the carousel, might be the most jarring of any of the elevation change on the circuit because it's just a steep drop. I remember on a track walk during a karting camp here a few years ago, and just looking at it and being awestruck at how significant the elevation change is.
Yeah, lap number 1 going on the board here, and it will be Oli Thordarson leading lap number 1 over Marc LaCorte. Oh, man, throwing it in up to the top of the hill.
Yeah, the amount of ground Mark made up in that one corner, he is absolutely sending the hell out of that thing.
Getting an onboard look here at Josh Carroll as he's making his way through the field. You can see kind of a little hesitant in the steering wheel there as we do have a yellow flag out on the race course, and that is for the car that went off at turn number 1. Take it back over, pick up this battle for the race lead.
Oh, Mark's got a big run coming out of 10.
Oh, man, big dive there into 11. Tell you what, though, you can make up a lot of ground there, but you can lose just as much if you overcook the corner entry, and now you're fighting with the guy in front of you, backs the corner up a little bit, gets the great acceleration off. That's what we saw out of Oli Thordarson. It almost makes the pass, even at turn 2 or turn 3, all but impossible. You really have to match the car ahead of you for speed on corner entry to try to drive quicker than they are off the corner.
Yeah, turn 11 always kind of tricks you. You know, it's the best braking zone on the entire track, and so you're trying to get all you can because there really isn't a whole lot of good areas to pass around here, unless you're an absolute psychopath with cojones that can't even fit in the car. So it's really easy to just take a little too much and lose a huge amount of time and just completely kill your run up into the 1 and 2 up in the uphill and put yourself vulnerable to losing spots behind.
So we will keep an eye on the clock here. 5 minutes and 15 seconds already down in this, with still a lot of racing left to go here in the Spec Corvette Series from Sonoma Raceway. And we may have had a problem here for John Nguyen. Let's take a look and go on board with him here. He has fallen well back. Oh, right back up to the leaders, though. Marc LaCorte had the look inside of Oli Thordarson into the hairpin. Much better corner exit that time. Man, Oli does a great job of getting the throttle down, but we are not seeing him pull away as much as we did last time around.
Yeah, Oli's got him on corner on acceleration, but man, the amount of ground that Mark can make up on the brake, any corner, doesn't matter if it's turn 2, turn 11, he just catches up so much.
Yeah, he makes up an absolute ton of ground. We're getting the Race Hero timing and scoring data up on the screen for everybody, and we'll have that up here in just a moment.
And I think Mark was really thinking about sending it around the outside. It's interesting the difference of lines these two are taking, because you see, oh, Oli blew it.
Oh, big bobble for Oli Thordarson.
Oh, no.
They're going to be side by side. Man, that's gutsy.
Oh, watch Mark set him up here. To get the pass done in 11, you have to basically start setting him up right at turn 7. The entire S's you have to use to set up the pass. Oh, not quite. Mark just had a little too much speed in the 10.
Yeah, that's basically what we're seeing here is abject insanity on the part of these guys. So we'll bring up the timing and scoring feed here so you guys can have access to that as well. Let's take a look here. Get us your comments in as well. Oh, Christian Jasper. What's up, buddy? Hopefully you're enjoying the show here. One of our Pizza at the Pagoda co-hosts. Marc LaCorte chasing down Oli Thordarson. Wow, great run through turn, I guess what, turn 3 at the top of the hill there for LaCorte.
Turn 2.
Turn 2?
This complex right here is turn 3.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah, look at the difference in lines as we come up to the carousel. You'll see Oli kind of takes an early entry and kind of diamonds out. He'll slide up mid-corner and then cut back down. Mark, well, of course, now that I say it, he takes the same line as Oli did. But what I noticed is he took a wider entry into the carousel, and it would allow him to kind of cut down and get a better run coming out of it.
Yeah, that's one of the big things is how these guys are using. Oh, another big slide for Oli. Oh, man. And the hard part is this isn't NASCAR. You can't use the bumper and run them over. Contact will get you flat disqualified. Done. Park it. See you later. That is so difficult for Marc LaCorte not to just absolutely run all over the rear end of Oli Thordarson.
I tell you, Oli gave Mark the biggest compliment with how he cut him off at the exit of the corner. He knew that Mark was going to back off. That was most others. I don't think Oli, he cuts down when he does.
Oh, lap traffic is going to come into play here, James. The first of them moves out of the way before the start-finish line. Now they're going to pass a Legends car through turn 1. Sometimes that can be all the move that you need here. Looks like trouble on the racetrack for Kevin Jones. Well, maybe not. He was definitely slowing just a hair, but letting one of the other cars come pass through here, one of the faster cars. This onboard with Kevin Jones. Let's also get you the onboard here with John Nguyen as well, quickly as he's turning his way up the hill. The battle for the race lead is still absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the air temp back home in Sonoma may be cool, but the on-track action is anything but cool at this point. It's pure fire.
Yes, you can say that again.
Little bit of mid-corner wiggle for Mark. He's going to lose so much time through the S's. Or not. Wow.
Well, I was going to say, he is gutsy driving that car through.
Oh, he is throwing this thing around.
Through turn 10, down past the drag strip. Let's bring it up for you here and show you the side-by-side as they come out of the corner. Seeing Kevin Missing checking in. Mark keeping Oli on his toes. Great racing. Man, this is fun. This is, quite frankly, this is now the 4th of these we've done, James. Every one of these has been an absolute blast.
Seriously, we're watching an absolute heavyweight slugfest between these two. Like, we're watching them just trade haymakers corner after corner.
taking a look a little bit back through the field here, the gap is at least 1 second for everybody through the rest of the field. The gap for the leaders, how about a half second at the start-finish line the last time by? JC Meynet holding on to third, 12.7 seconds back of your race leaders. These dudes are just throwing absolute haymakers at each other. Tony Jimerson with a nice run, though. He's only 1 second back at JC for fourth in his first weekend of the season. Oh, man, both of them overcooked the entry that time.
Oh,
and one of the
overcooked the exit just a tad.
I say, well, James, you can do that easy. These are DOT tires, basically. This is not a purpose-built. I mean, yes, it is a bit of a race tire that Nankang has provided for these cars, but it's not. You know, you're not running like Firestone Reds in the IndyCar series when they're out here. It's easy to beat up these tires.
Oh, here comes the send. Ah.
Big move.
Oh, man.
There they go, taking off up the hill. Oh, man, LaCorte is right there. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, James. We're only like halfway through this thing. 7 laps are in the books. 13 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock.
What a save.
Wow.
Oh, he's giving her all she's got, Captain.
The gap opening back up between JC Meynet and Tony Jimerson. That is now at 2.3 seconds. Josh Carroll closing slightly. He's up to 2.2 seconds back.
Oh, more power sliding. Oh, there's no more fun thing you can do than power slide on the exit of the carousel.
I tell you what, we saw Josh Carroll doing that a ton yesterday. I can't believe that there was any rubber left on the rear tires in Josh Carroll's car. I thought he was putting up so much smoke, I thought he blew an engine.
Seriously. And then we see it lap after lap. It's like, no, he's just wheeling the hell out of that thing. Oh, man, Mark might get him. Oh, turn 10's going to be so critical.
He's at least going to have a shot. Maybe back it down a hair. Now, I guess the yellow flag that we're seeing is still for that incident at turn 1.
I believe so as well.
I don't see a yellow. Oh, LaCorte almost got the wall off of 11.
He tried to carry too much speed into turn 11 because of he just did not get through turn 10 well. That is another really deceptive corner on the track. You know, people underestimate turn 10. And turn 10 may just be the most difficult corner on the track because of the fact that it's the fastest corner on the track. You're carrying so much speed. You have to get off of it a lot more than you think. The best way to do is to kind of take a wide entry in and just cut the curbing just enough. You know, if you look at all the times NASCAR comes here, you'll see in practice, most of the major incidents in practice for cup cars around here is at turn 10 because you just carry more speed than you think you can. You hit the grass and right off into the wall. And so what Mark did was he just turned in a little too early and just had to get off of it a lot more to keep it on the track, where Oli took a wider entry and just carried way more speed.
Yeah, and we're seeing the comment here from Kevin Missig that these guys are on the absolute limit of these tires. That's about the best way that we can say it. The limit of adhesion. And quite frankly, it's almost like you have to back it down. Oh, man. In fact, LaCorte may be over that edge just a little bit. We see this in the iRacing stuff all the time. You get a little bit too much heat in the tires, you have to run almost slow laps and slow corners just to get the temperatures brought down.
Now may be the time for them to try to test out the whole dipping your tires in the grass to see if you can cool them down.
or pick up a whole bunch of junk.
Yeah, like dead grass. Lord knows, nothing but dead grass around this asphalt.
Oli Thordarson is your race leader.
I tell you, Mark is still the faster car on the track, but Oli is just able to get through those critical corners just well enough to keep Mark at bay.
Yeah, and Oli has had a spectacular season. The Danville, California native entering the race as the points leader over Greg Nestor. One win, but only one win, but 8 podiums this season. Impressive run for Oli Thordarson, including a great performance out at the double points Spec Corvette Nationals at Lake of the Ozarks. DNF'd yesterday in race 1, didn't hurt him too much in that event, or at least in the point standings, I should say. But man, I tell you what, James, now we're getting to crunch time. 18 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. This really is, if Marc LaCorte has cooled the tires down, he wants to make the move and try to force Oli Thordarson into a mistake. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Good luck on that
Great comment coming in here from Emotive Engineering. Oli had brand new tires this morning in the qualifying race. Might be a determining factor here late as LaCorte looks wide. Now he's going to try the cross under, see if he can get the power down. About as good as Oli that time. Could we see a big move up into turn number 2? You know what? Here's another comment, James, and you can speak to this one. Mark made up so much ground, but watching Oli's lines around here are a lesson in defensive positioning at Sonoma. It really is a place where you can force somebody to just not have a move. We just saw it there. Little chirp out of the tires from Marc LaCorte, nothing coming down here in the turn downhill towards the carousel.
Exactly. There's just not a whole lot of passing zones on the track. This track is very narrow. You need the perfect corner and the perfect run to make a pass if you're as even as Oli and Mark are. And as you see time after time, Oli is just able to get a better run through turn 10, so Mark can't really make a move. Mark closes up right on the back bumper every time, but he's having to claw back what he loses from turn 10, and he just can't make it done.
Seeing Kevin Missick checking in. I'm gonna change your comment a little here, Kevin. Why's Oli Al keeping his elbows out to keep Mark behind? And this is where the traffic can come into play as well here. They're gonna have a big run on this car down to 10.
Oh.
Now LaCorte won't be able to make the move into 11 and almost has to back it off a hair. Oli going to be side by side with the traffic through the hairpin. Little bit of a slide for LaCorte. 20 minutes down. We are in the closing stages here at the Sonoma Raceway. Final race of the weekend. And looks like we have trouble for Kevin Jones. He is sitting off the side of the racetrack. He's parked and looking up the hill at turn number 1. Saw him kind of gesture to the drivers back behind him.
You can't park there.
Oh, that's awesome. One camera look we haven't given a ton of time to today, quite frankly, because it's moving so much, but this will give you a good idea of things. Looking at Josh Carroll's onboard camera, you'll actually see the camera start to spin. It's almost like it's off the mount ever so slightly.
Nah. What it is it's the first ever NRN gyro cam. Take that, Fox Sports.
Yes, we will lay claim to that one. Josh Carroll, by the way, all over the back end of Tony Jimerson. You can almost see him out the front window there. Oh, man. Oh, he's right there. Really hard to see with the glare out the front, but good run here for Josh Carroll as well. We'll see if he's able to get them as they come across the line. Carroll checking the rear view mirror. We got a great look at the driver here. Not so much out the front end, but let's go back to this battle for the race lead as they make their way up the hill.
It would appear Kevin Jones has also got back going and back on the track.
Yep, Kevin Jones is back moving.
Oh, side-by-side lap traffic. That's never what you want to see around here.
Oh, that's tight. It's like the skippies are in the way. This will be a checkered flag this time. One more shot for Marc LaCorte to try to get around Oli Thordarson.
Oh, Mark wants to send it line.
Man, what a job of driving there. That is so difficult to keep the gap to Oli Thordarson while still making the pass and being cognizant of the traffic that's on the outside.
At a very difficult cambered corner at high speed.
Oh, there's the bobble. Yeah, we've got someone off big time in turn number 1. That was not one of the Spec Corvettes. At least of the ones that we have camera eyes on anyway. One more shot to come back through. Down to turn number 11 for what should be the final time. LaCorte, he's right there. Can he make the move on Oli Thordarson? Thordarson bobbles just the slightest little bit. Off the final corner, checkered flag will be in the air this time. And Oli Thordarson will claim the win here at Sonoma. Marc LaCorte gonna come home second. JC Meynet going to be your third place finisher tonight. Go on board here with Josh Carroll. They've still got a little bit of this lap left to go. Carroll trying to taste down Tony Jimerson, but it will not be enough. Jimerson going to come home fourth. Josh Carroll fifth. Sixth place will go here to John Nguyen, as he's going to make his way through that hairpin for the final time. He comes across the start-finish line, but Greg Nestor, Kevin Jones will round out the field here on this one. But your race winner is the number 22 of Oli Thordarson. Great drive from Oli here today. Absolute clinic in defensive driving. Man, that was a fun one to watch.
Oh my God, we just called a barn burner.
Again, we did it again. 2 days in a row, we got absolutely epic races from the Spec Corvette Series. Man, was that fun. Unfortunately, we don't get a chance to talk to these guys in the post-race. No victory podium celebrations here at Sonoma Raceway. Oh, man, that was intense. And Oli Thordarson is going to pick up a huge bump in the points, with Greg Nestor finishing in the 7th position. Looks like it should be, I believe, a 30-point gap for Oli Thordarson as we're going to head off to Laguna Seca in just a couple of weeks. Good run for JC Meynet. May be able to pick up enough points to get past Craig Dale and into the top 3 in the point standings, but at least he's going to tighten that gap up in a very big way. But, man, I'll tell you what, James, as we get ready to roll on out of here, that was absolutely epic stuff from the Spec Corvette Series once again.
Oh my goodness, it's incredible. Just watch these two who just trade blow after blow, and it was clean, hard racing. It's everything you want to see out of a battle for the win.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, and we are thrilled that we're going to be able to get to do a whole lot more of this type of stuff with the fine folks from Spec Corvette. Coming up in September will be the next round of the championship coming up from Laguna Seca, September 15th through the 18th for that weekend of racing. Thank you very much to Catch Me Boostin', Kevin Romero, the two guys out there who are, they've got cameras running around the Sonoma Raceway for us, and all the drivers that allowed us access to put cameras in their cars. We truly do appreciate it. It makes our life very, very easy here. But with that, it is time for us to get the heck on out of here. For James Watson and everybody else here at the National Racing Network who makes these broadcasts happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.